there, it's Carol from San Francisco Stitch Co. Most of you know me as the machine embroidery diva, but this whole obsession began about 25 years ago just with hand cross stitch. So we're about 10 days out from Christmas, and Christmas always leaves me feeling nostalgic. So today we're just going to do something fun, and I'm going to open up my box of vintage cross stitch kits. I think you all might recognize some of these, and when we're done you can go rummaging through your drawers and see what you have to work on. So let's open her up. So this first one that I'm seeing on top is probably the one that's closest to finished. I think this came out in like the late 90s, and this was in quite a few of the catalogs, so you might recognize it. And it was not a beginner kit, because this actually had some Hardanger in it, which is where you cut threads out and then lace them back together in certain ways. So it's a bit of a death-defying stitch. So let's take a look. All right, here we go. This one, it looks actually pretty close to finish. So I think the border was getting a little bit boring for me, but you can see where the holes are that I had to cut, and then there's another big area here, so I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of reading up and see how I actually did that. So that's one of the minuses of putting things away for 20 years, is you kind of forget where you were. But this is really a beautiful piece, and then when this is done, there's a second part that goes behind it. You can see it in the picture, but there's a Christmas tree that's just regular cross stitch to put behind that. So this is something I actually think I could finish up next year, and I'd love to have it by next Christmas. Okay, then we have these. You also might recognize these. Kind of came out, I think, when cross stitch was waning a little bit, and I think the designers decided they better come up with some quicker to stitch things. And this is by Debbie Mom. She still designs today, but it also came with the mat and the glass and everything, so you could stitch it quickly and then just put it together. So it was a very attractive idea. So this one, it looks like I made a lot of progress on it. Looks like I just need to stitch the little box around the outside. It looks like the clips for the glass are missing, so that'll be a challenge. But I do still have the glass and the little mat, so it's so cute and still so appropriate in my life, because we're in a different house now than when I started this. But this house has a big nest of dragonflies in the backyard, so it's very appropriate for where I am now. And here's another one that I just love this when I saw it. I think it was in a catalog. So we didn't have, you know, the internet and the scrolling that you could do now to see what everybody was doing. And I just remember like having a few local hobby shops to look for cross stitch in. I remember getting a few catalogs in the mail from like Hirschner's, and the Stitchery was one of them. So when I picked this stuff back up, I did go online to see if some of these names were still around, and they're all online now, so it was kind of like finding some old friends. But this one is it's called Inch by Inch, and it's little seed packets with the fruits of the spirit in it. So there's love, joy, peace, and I'd love to have this on my wall. So let's see how far I got. It's not looking good. You can see I didn't even sort the floss, so that's not a good sign. There is a needle in here though, so here it is. I just started one color, and I barely have one little background of a seed packet done. So I think this is unfortunately going to end up back in the box to serve a few more months. But I love it, and I'd love to do it someday. Oh, and we have a finish here. So this is, I remember this. This is a kit I got at a local hobby shop that I used to love to go to. And you were actually supposed to stitch 8 of these reindeer and then make them into little reindeer pillows, and there was also a sleigh with Santa, so you were supposed to make the 8 reindeer and Santa and kind of string them all together as a set on like your mantle. So, but I think I bailed pretty quickly and just turned this into a single with a little frame around it. And I kind of remember thinking that I needed something to fill this space with, but I guess that kind of stopped me. So this one, I think I could just frame it and hang it this year. It's very cute. I just love the reindeer. Oh, and here's a card. I think this was for a wedding that was about 10 years ago. Oh, here it is. I had a good start on this. So there's no weddings coming up in my family, so I think it'll just have to serve some more time. So I did actually have one finish this year. So I pulled everything out about 2 years ago when cross stitch was getting popular again, and I found this cute snowman piece, and I think I had about 2 snowmen done. So last year I actually went back last year and part of this year and finished it up. And then I remember when I bought it, they had advertised this tray that you could buy as a separate purchase. But, you know, at the time I had 2 little kids. I couldn't afford it. But I'm pleased to say I went back online and the exact same tray was still available. So I bought it and slipped it in there. And that's just a real nice finish for this Christmas. Next, I'm going to show you my current project. If you read my blog, you'll know I picked this up in June. It's one of my kits that was in a box for about 20 years. This is Sandy Orton's beautiful autumn sampler. She's one of my favorite designers from back in the day. If you use her hashtag on Instagram, you will pull up many delights. But as you can see, it's just full of color. It's a full back stitch on the whole pattern. It's almost solid coverage. There's about 30 colors, and it's just been really fun to work on because there's like little things like the apple lady I did, and then I did the little banner. So you just kind of move from one little section at a time to another. So I kind of calculated when I pulled this out that it would take me about a year to do, and I think I might pull it off in about 8 months. So I would love to have this framed and on my wall by next fall. And next, you know, if there was an autumn sampler, I also have summer and there's spring. So these are completely unopened. I don't have winter. I've looked on eBay and it's there. It's just kind of fun to look, but I could see that I got this at Hobby Lobby for about $22. I noticed it's now selling on eBay between $50 and $60. So it's just nice to be able to tell Mr. Duffy that my treasure box has been a really good investment for us. Then it's back to Christmas. I'm sure many of you will recognize these. These are just little cross-stitch ornaments. They're in the shape of stockings. They're so cute, and it looks like you could stitch one up in maybe an hour and a half. I'm sure many of you recognize these. They came out with many like different series of these, and maybe it's time to get started on some of those. Okay, and next up we have some Christmas botanicals. So that's flower and Christmas, 2 things I love. And these are little ornaments. We have the poinsettia, the snowdrops, pine tree, the mistletoe, and I just think they're so pretty. I don't think I would make these as ornaments. I'd probably stitch all 12 on one piece of fabric because I feel like for the time spent on these, it's more a work of art for me. So I definitely am into the framing aspect of it. And then I think I mentioned that Probably the reason I started cross stitch was just to make my kids beautiful cross stitch stockings. So my son John got his when he was 4, and my daughter got hers when she was 24, because I just finished it last year. But this one I bought for me. So, and I do love the stocking. It's just the colors in the snow are so pretty. It says all hearts come home for Christmas. I just love the warmth behind the door. So this is all Christmas for me, and I'm really hoping I can stitch it together someday. And here's my last vintage cross stitch. Years ago, my mom had a beach house, and I bought this for her. I thought I would make it for her front hall, and it's just, again, it's so pretty. You have all the shells, full back stitch. It's got just shell names in the background, so it's another pattern I really love. So you have to hand it to me. I do, when I do spend the money on a cross stitch kit, they are ones that I never fall out of love with, and all of these I still would hope to make someday. You're not going to find me putting them on eBay. So then I have 2 last patterns to show you, and they are new ones, because it's hard to just get involved in the community with the Flosstube and the Instagram and see everything everyone's doing and not like want to jump in with some newer things. So this is one I bought for Black Friday. This is Little House Needleworks, and they're very popular right now, and it's called Kringles. And Kringles, I imagine to be a little shop like on a London street, a little department store, and they have all their store set up for Christmas with the toy department and the nursery and the gift wrapping area, and it's just so cute. So this one is like a little lighter coverage than my Sandy Orton samplers, and I also find that the more contemporary artists don't do a full back stitch. So this to me, I think would take maybe 3 or 4 months to do, because it's still like a very large piece. And then this is my last one. This is by Silver Creek Samplers, and it's again a Christmas piece. And when I read it, I had to have it because it's a little poem. It starts out, family visits, turkey dressing, woolen sweaters, Christmas blessing. And I just fell in love with that part of it. And I also really enjoy adding words into things with my background as a graphic designer. Typography is really important to me, but there's also the cutest little pictures like an angel, reindeer, there's the car with the tree on top, and all of those little elements would be very quick to stitch. One thing about a larger design, when you're selecting one, if you pick one that has like little things like words or just little parts, you can like stitch along and just get a sense of completion as you go along, as you finish each little bit. So that's my cross stitch treasure box. Thanks for going through it with me. It was really fun. I hope I've inspired you to see what you might have in your drawers and just add a few stitches today. If you find the Sandy Orton winter sampler, I'd like to take it off your hands. If not, put it on eBay. Look through eBay, scroll, see what you enjoy. It's just a wonderful craft that has come back into favor, and I'm really pleased to be able to share it with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.